someone has their eyes on you, but they're also really proud of the progress you've made. So maybe you've been feeling like this intensity around your interactions with someone, or just some more anxious energy that you don't really resonate with. And I'm starting to feel like it's not yours, but instead it's somebody else's. We're getting back to that quote, right? Of, have you considered that the anxious feeling you're feeling isn't even yours to begin with? And when you start to get centered with what's yours and what's not yours, you really feel your power again. So maybe you're just an extremely sensitive being. Oh my God, we love that and we love you. And we want you to know it's not a weakness, it's a superpower. Because at the end of the day, it's one of the most valuable things you can have. And so if you're going to do this, embrace this, it's up to you. One way I feel would benefit you is not separation necessarily, but test and trial and error with what may be making you anxious. So like taking one thing out of the equation at a time, literally like a mathematical equation kind of energy. Take one thing out of the picture, take another thing out of the picture, another thing out of the picture, get it down to the root of what is actually creating that anxious energy. You could feel vulnerable to someone or something, set up the boundaries and perimeters that make you feel better there. You could feel overwhelmed by something, set up the boundaries and perimeters for yourself to not dwell there. And when you really set a time and place every single day, for example, like the mornings or nights, I highly recommend like more towards like a release in the mornings and like a affirm in the nights. But everybody has a different method. Look, when you are picking up on energy that is not yours, it's almost a responsibility of yours for your inner child. Not for your inner child to do the work, but for you to do it for your inner child, to know what's yours and know what's not. Because your inner child will not create if it starts personalizing things that isn't theirs. And when you aren't in that creative mode because you're too busy trying to do other people's shadow work, that's an issue. And so how can you know what you're being called to step up into, and when you're called to be more aware of what's actually around you? For example, like maybe the feng shui of your space is a good example. Or even if we get to, let me think about it. If we get to like beings around you or your neighbors or the color scheme you have going on, noticing these things and noticing what kind of energy reaction they're creating within you. That's the call for you right now, okay? So what you're feeling might not be yours, and it's very easy sometimes to feel relieved whenever you just figure out what it is that's actually making you anxious. So a lot of times it's not what you think it is. And it's not to say that these things are bad. It's just having boundaries with things is very important. I'd say like a lot of times whenever we don't have too much structure going on in our lives, things tend to slip by because you get used to it. But if you have a lot of different avenues, a lot of different spaces, a lot of different people that you're interacting with, nothing really slips through the cracks, because as long as it's not too many people, you have that base like comparison to what you would be feeling like in a more high vibrational interaction, right? In other words, it can't be the only thing you do all day. It can't be the only person you see all the time. It can't be the only feeling you feel all the time, because at the end of the day, if you don't get a chance to get away from it, if you don't get a chance to just be with you instead of whatever that thing might be, it could even be like a substance or food or something that you're ingesting, even something you're watching. If you don't get a chance to be with yourself outside of it, even if it's not for the long run, just for like a vacation from it, how are you going to know whether or not it's that thing that's actually affecting you? And I think this is just for like checkups. We do this every season, or we do this every 6 months, whatever it may be for you. Sometimes we do this every month. We just take a few days to ourselves. I think it's very healthy, and I congratulate you for taking upon this journey for yourself. What? Ashe so be amen. I love you.